Hey, yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? It is your man Bvon here with We Create Music TV. Tonight is Thursday, 7 p.m. So it's an interview that we have tonight with my man, music producer, hip hop artist, oh my gosh, multi-instrumentalist, songwriter, engineer. Man, I don't even know how many titles this guy has, how many roles he actually fulfills, but we're going to talk about it all tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to my man, Jermaine Robinson.
Yo.
What's good? What's good, brother?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be here, bro.
Hey, I'm happy to have you, brother. Happy to have you. I've been seeing you on social media, of course. You know, we follow each other. I'm seeing the work that you're doing and the stuff
Yes,
you're putting in. So, and there's some
Yeah.
stuff we're going to talk about tonight, and especially when we get to the whole music section. So, oh man, oh yeah, I need to come. I need to come and just sit like a fly on the wall and watch you just do your thing. Cause yeah, I just need to be like a silent fly on the wall, just studying the skills. But
Yeah.
we'll get into the skills and all that stuff a little bit later. But man, Jermaine, welcome to the show, brother. Glad that you are here.
Thank you.
And so with every guest, I always start up every interview the same way. Tell us how you got started in this music industry. And before you get started, I'm always just interested in people's journey, right? Because everybody's journey is different. But I find that we're all in the same thing, right? We all do music. We're music creators, but how we got here, oh man, it's completely, my story is different from yours, different from somebody else's. So what's yours? How'd you get started?
Man, so I guess we have to go back to I was maybe around 8 or 9 years old, man. And as far as like me being a participant in the creation of music, that's when my parents they signed me up for band, and that's where I started playing saxophone. And like wasn't even like a real serious thing at first because like my parents they're the type of people where like they want their kids to be busy, stay active so they can stay out of trouble and always have something constructive and positive to do. So saxophone, being in the band, that was just something else for me to do. And yeah, like I said, I started around 8 or 9 years old, and I played saxophone, tenor sax, alto sax, and bari, through elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, and that I have to say that instrument, it took me to some places, man, that I probably would have never seen, never got to experience if I never had, tried to play that and took it seriously. And so, with playing saxophone, I was also able to be exposed to just, different types of music. I played in jazz bands and played in wind ensembles and in pit orchestra and, these different types of genres and atmospheres. And so that, in itself just kind of helped me out as far as like just my whole scope of, my musical knowledge, my musical experience. And so that's kind of where like the specific of me playing instruments come from. Like I'm interested in like live instrumentation based off of that experience. And then as far as like producing, writing, recording, I want to say around like 13 years old when I was in middle school. And by this time, I was really in love with playing saxophone. Like I really enjoyed it. And so my language arts teacher at the time, Mr. Freeman, he had a after school club, the music production club. And so, like I said, I just love music. I saw music in the title. I was like, yo, let me sign up for that.
Right.
Right. And so I signed up for it. We had our meetings and our recording sessions in the principal's office. And that journey of recording, making beats, writing songs, that's where that kind of was birthed. And we would write these songs. They would, I mean, like we're 13, 12, 13 years old. So they would be like, and it's in school. So like they'll be like very positive songs, like being good to your parents and getting good grades on the CRCT and tests like that. And so, but in the midst of that, like I remember Mr. Freeman, he would be the main one making beats, and I would just sit there and watch it. Like I consider myself just I'm a chill person. I'm a quiet person, but I'm very observant, and I'm I like to be aware of the environment. And so I would just be a fly on the wall whenever he would make these instrumentals, and it would just be like watching a mad scientist, man. And And like any, very curious kid, I'm always, being annoying and asking questions and like, what is this? And how are you doing that? What are you using? Why are you using that? And he would be very gracious and always giving me answers and giving me tips and everything. And so, um, he told me about the gear he was using and where I should probably start. And probably like a year and a half passed by. I had been bugging my dad to give me like a MacBook Pro, and he was finally able to get me one. And just like how most of us kind of start, we start on GarageBand, and that's kind of where that started. And so I would make these songs, make these beats, and I'll keep them to myself, never really play it for anybody. And it was like that for a while too, honestly, and because I enjoy just the pure, act of creating these songs. Like it was like a drug, man. It felt good to just create.
Right.
And I had just pure enjoyment out of it. And I probably started really like releasing music to the public when I was in college. And that's when I felt confident enough in what I was making to start releasing that. And that's kind of like of the journey of with that the music production and everything. So yeah.
That's what's up, man. Like you were getting your Kenny G on back in the day. You know what I
Not
mean?
Kenny G. Oh no. No, not Kenny
Oh,
G.
Najee. Oh, who was the other? Was it
Not Kenny G.
Was Najee? Did Najee play the sax? Was it Najee?
Yeah.
Anytime you hear like about saxophone, like the first reference is like a Kenny G, right? Because he had like one of the most famous saxophone riffs that people still kind of reference back in the day, right? I'm not comparing you to Kenny G. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in that capacity, you know what I'm saying? Like that's supposed to be. Because I had a friend when I used to live in Virginia. He was a saxophonist, and this guy, you mentioned like how the saxophone for you took you to places that you couldn't imagine it taking you to. And for him, it kind of was the same thing. His name is Reggie Braxton, and Reggie traveled the world playing the saxophone. I mean, I'm like, Reggie, where you at this week? Oh, I'm in Brazil. In Brazil? Yeah, I got a concert playing the saxophone. Like, okay, well, where are you going to be next? I'm in Germany next week. And so his saxophone took him to and he and I used to go to the same church, and it just took him to some of the craziest places that I personally would have never thought playing like the saxophone for him would take him.
Yeah.
But that was part of his ministry, and that's part of the things that he did. So Jermaine, for you, I'm interested in knowing more about how did you get involved with like being part of pit orchestras, right? I mean, how did you get into doing that specifically?
Yeah. So this is when I was in high school, and I was one of those guys, man, where I was just I like to be involved. And so when I was in the band program in high school, I participated in every single ensemble. So like the different ensembles we had was, pit orchestra for the spring musicals. We had one ensemble, we had the concert band, we had a marching band. I was involved in all of that, and so the pit orchestra was just like kind of like another thing that I just decided to be involved in. And I enjoyed it because it was a different atmosphere that you got to be around with your homies. Cause obviously when you're, rehearsing and practicing consistently with the same people, you develop these bonds. And so when we will have these rehearsals for these plays, it would just be a great bonding experience for a lot of, me and my homies at that time. And, and so it was just another fun thing to do. I guess I don't like to overthink it, but it was just kind of a part of life at that point of just something that I did. And so I took that with me on to college because I enjoyed playing that music specifically. I think like in high school, I think we did like Chicago. We did we did Dreamgirls, and that was probably like the most fun. Yeah, we did that like probably like my junior year. And so I just love playing that music and playing those different types of arrangements. And that's kind of honestly where I learned like arrangement and like playing with textures and how to really like tell a story and give movement to a scene or and I you can kind of apply that to like popular music nowadays.
Right.
Like when I write my songs, I like my verses. When I make my rap verses, I like them to have some type of arc, some type of movement, so
Mm-hmm.
where it's not just a boring thing from A to B. I like there to be
Right.
some type of journey. And so going back to specifically about the pit orchestras, yeah, I kind of just took that on with me to college, and exposed myself to more of that type of music, that type of arrangement, that type of environment. And
Mm.
me personally, I feel like it was a very beneficial thing for me to be a part of.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. You don't hear, you know, I mean, you don't really hear like a lot of people. Hey, I was part of the pit orchestra, and I'm part of the ensembles, and doing these big concerts, and like that's just now. I guess when you're like in because people in high school, when you're in band in high school, or like me when I was in choral in high school, I mean, we got involved in a lot of different things, right? Whether it was, you know, uh, entered school type competitions. You had state championships and all these different things that you did. So I'm sure those some of those things were kind of the same for you. So
Yep.
I'm sure like every competition we had, every choir thing that we had, I was always there. I mean, I always got picked to do it. My teacher was always like, "Hey, come here."
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yep.
"Dang!"
Yep.
Like every time she would say, and she always had, oh my gosh, she always had this way when we were in especially in high school. She would be sitting there at the piano because we had a piano, and then we had like all of the like the alto, we had the alto, the soprano, the tenor, the baritone, the bass, right? So she's
Mhm.
sitting here, and it's like a curved seating area, and we're
Mhm.
all sitting up there, and she'll just, Brian, come here. I'm like, shoot, dang. I'm like, yes,
Why me?
ma'am. Like, oh, yes, ma'am. And I'll come down. You want to be a part of this? Sure. I said no to her once, and
Mhm.
that was to go to the state to do the state championship. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do solo at the state. So I was like, no, I'm good. She was like, you sure? I said, yeah, I don't want it to just be me. I like, I'm good with everybody else, singing with everybody else. But me by myself, in front of how many people gonna be there? I'm good.
Right.
Choose somebody else. Yo, choose Marcus. He likes that stuff. Not your boy, not me, right? Not me. But I mean, but when you're when you're in school, when you're in college, you get immersed in a lot of those different things, and I think that's important in helping to shape a person's uh, creativity, a person's knowledge base when it comes to the things that you said, like arrangement and
Mhm.
texture and structure, and doing all those different things. Because for me, I produce too, but yeah, I heard some of your stuff, and I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't produce. Maybe I should just do something else. No, but I mean, but you're right though. It's
Mhm.
you learn all those different all those different things, and you apply those to the things that you do today. So I'm interested when we get to it to talk about how all of those things work together for you with your own music that you create. Because yeah, brother, you got some stuff, and so we're gonna. Man, I can't wait to get to it. Right, I'm looking at the time, like, oh yeah, we'll get to it in about just a little bit. But
Mhm.
so let me ask you. So how did you know? Everybody's path is different. Everybody's journey is different. Life circumstances, environments that they're raised in. I mean, how did
Mhm.
you know that being a music creative is what you wanted to do? Out of all the things you could have done in the world, how did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
Man, I don't know, man. It just always felt right to do it. And like I said, like there's other things that I do and that I involve myself in, and like, and I enjoy those other things, but I don't know, man. Creating music and being involved in this, like it has a different feeling. And even, now in this stage of my life, I'm firm on like going with your gut. And that gut feeling, I've always had a gut feeling with music since I was 8, 9 years old, man. It always just felt good. And in those times of doubt, you have those thoughts of like, oh, maybe this is not for me, or something's not happening right away, or as fast
Mm-hmm.
as you want it to happen. You're like, oh man, maybe this is not the thing I should be doing. And even like the thought of that would just kind of honestly make me sick to my stomach, man. And it's
Mm.
like, that's kind of like the relationship I have with the music, and it just always felt good. And so, like I said, I would just go with my gut feeling, and you know, like I said, I would try other things. Those other things, I would be good at them,
Right.
but it just didn't give that same fulfillment, that same feeling. And so, I'm just a firm believer of that, man. Where you just go with your gut, go with what
Hmm.
feels right. Don't try to listen to the outside noise. And you know, I consider myself young. I'm 25. This is a perfect time for me to, like, you know,
Oh yeah, for
really
sure.
make those decisions and, you know, try things and take risk and, you know, really live in the moment of going through these highs and lows of the
Mm.
music, you know. So
Yeah. Man, that's prime. That's prime. Like I'm not at that prime age no more to take all them risks. But you can see all that gray right here. I ain't
hey
at
man,
that.
I got some grays
Hey,
too,
you got some
man.
great stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I mean, but I think that's important is for people to really go with their gut feeling. I mean we
Mhm.
have that gut feeling for a reason, and that kind of is that thing that sits back and says this is what you really should be doing. And a lot of times we look out in our environment, we see other people doing other things, we hear the criticism from other people, we hear a lot of
Mhm.
different things that's taking place. Things don't happen in the time frame that we expect them to. We spent all this money on gear and it's not
Bruh.
paying,
Oh,
the
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Man.
So we sit back and go, man, is this, you know what? Who was I talking to? Uh, Irene Rock. Make sure y'all go check out that video interview with Irene Rock. But in her interview, she said, I think she said it. Quote me if I'm wrong, Irene, if you ever see this. But I think she said it that this is the only industry that you got to pay money. Like most stuff you get paid. Like this
Mhm.
is you got to pay.
Mhm.
All you got to pay for your marketing. You got to pay for your tools. You got to pay for your. It's like you're paying for every single thing, and
Yes,
then
man.
what's the payoff? That payoff
What's
may
the
not
reward
come.
of it?
That
Mhm.
payoff may not come for another 10 years. Like, oh my gosh, like really? And then most people
I
sit
was
back. Now go ahead.
now I was talking about this with somebody, and like it's we kind of like, I forgot who it was, but they gave it kind of like a phrase to that. It's kind of like the pain period where like you're you know, you're going through the woes of it all. You're putting so much in, you're putting so much,
Mm,
whether it be effort, blood, sweat, and tears, money, whatever it is, into it, and it's like very, very little reward, and very few people make it through that pain period, man. And so, but the
that's right.
ones, you know, who make it to the other side, those are the ones who, like I said, who had that gut feeling, who had
Mm,
enough of that gut feeling to where they were like, okay, this, I know this pain period is only going to be temporary.
right.
And so, um, you know, and they make it to the other side, and that's how we get these legends, and we get these very iconic and, you know, artists and innovators and engineers that are, you know, changing the scope of, you know, what is the standard, you know,
Mm,
kind of stuff like that. So just got to make it
yeah.
through, man.
Yeah. Because I done spent like, when I do my
Yeah.
taxes every year, my wife is like, okay, go count up all your receipts of all the things you spent and then give them to me because, when we run all of this stuff out of our house. But so, them things tax deductible. You know what I mean? Like, so,
Yes, sir.
bruh,
Yeah.
this year was like 10 grand. I was like, dang.
Mm,
I
mm,
asked, yeah, I was like, woo. On just whatever it was, cameras, lights,
mhm.
computers, systems and all types of stuff. It's just like every year, I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm not buying nothing else. Well, none of me, I say, because I just redid my whole studio downstairs. I bought a whole new Mac and I changed the whole, oh yeah.
Ooh, oh, the
Oh,
Max, yeah, the Max set you back, man.
Max,
I don't have this. I don't have this MacBook Pro for like a good 7, 8 years at this point, man.
man,
I'm like, I'm trying to run until it just can't run no more.
man, this
This
Mac
thing runs
studio that
smoothly.
I just bought is when they released it
Oh, you
on
got the
March.
studio.
I got the studio.
Oh
I
man.
did. I just bought soon on the day it came out. I was like, I've been waiting. Because sorry, not to segue everybody, right? You know what I'm saying? You know how these interviews go. Y'all know we talk about everything. But on the day it came out, I had been wanting a new Mac, right? Because I do music production, of course, I do video editing and stuff like that. And so I needed something that was super powerful to run not just the music. The music is fine. I can run music on. this 2010 Mac Pro that I got over here.
Okay.
But I needed something powerful because I edit in DaVinci and I'm editing 4K, 4.2.0,
Yeah, it's a
4.2.2,
different monster.
type of codecs. And I'm like, yo, this thing ain't really handling it the way it is. Now, the computer that I got downstairs that I got to figure out now what to do with it is a 2010. So anybody interested, I'm giving you what it is, right? so
Mhm.
so it's a mid 2010. It has two 3.49 gigahertz processor. It's 12 cores. Has an 8 gig graphics card in it. 128 gigs of RAM. It has a Blackmagic graphics card in it for live streaming. It has 4 USB ports.
Yeesh.
It's super decked out. It's like super decked
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I was like,
Yeesh.
yeah. But the point is, in all of that, saying all of this stuff is that it costs a lot
Yeah.
to do what we do, so that we can be
Mhm.
proficient, not just in money, but in time and energy and efforts and sleepless nights and all these different things that we run into. So Jermaine, I know for you, as probably with most people, we all have had our challenges that we faced. So for you personally, what have been the challenges that you have faced, and what did you learn from those?
Ooh, man. And we can go as recent as just like the last 2 years, man. With the whole pandemic and everything. Felt like you know with the pandemic that kind of affected a lot of us. Small independent artists. Who are steadily building. Especially, I remember like I think I had just came home from college, man. August of 2019. I had jobs lined up because I went to school for music. So like I already had kind of, gigs and everything lined up when I came home. And my time back at home was supposed to be, temporary. Like, and I had like set goals and, time points in my timeline. And I was building momentum, I was going up, and I was collaborating, putting out content consistently and seeing rewards from that. I
Mm-hmm.
got to participate in like beat making contests where I got to meet Night Wonder as being a winner and
Oh,
everything in
nice.
January 2020. And so like it was just on a upward build, and then boom, everything kind of just halted.
Mm.
And in combination with that, my dad, he has some prior health problems that really reached its crescendo at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that in combination with the coronavirus going on, that kind of like really, just halted me in my progression, man. And trying to find like I was still trying to figure myself out as an artist, as a producer, and my sound and everything, and just and even as a person, man. Like honestly, if I'm
Mm.
being quite honest, and so like to have all that happen to where now like I got to be like a key provider for my dad and my family and everything, and I had to put part of my musical career, my musical journey on the back burner, man, and that like hurt a lot, you know. And so, but going through that made me realize what my I guess what my purpose is in the type of music I make. Because like even back then, even 2 years ago, I was kind of making music where it was like pretty, I would say like surface level. And going through that experience, where I'm being a provider in that capacity, um, it made me realize I feel like I'm a humble servant. And so that's
Mm.
what I try to do in my music is be a humble servant and talk about real things and talk about topics that everyday people go through, not just
Mm-hmm.
like the kind of like the same stuff that we hear in the mainstream. And so yeah, so I think going
Right.
through that experience alone, man, and even going like I've gone through things in my life, like my mom passed when I was, a child and everything,
Mm.
and so going through, you know, deaths and all these kind of things, they shape me, and I even have a song about like where things happen for a reason, and if you don't know what that reason is, then you got to give it one, and so any highs or lows that happen in my life, I always try to see some type of purpose in it and learn from it and build upon it. And so I don't know where I kind of got off track a little bit, but that's kind of a few of the things that kind of shaped me into like the kind of
Right.
mentality that I have in my journey and going forward, and even in the subject matter of my music and everything.
Yeah, no, I think COVID was a wake up call in so many ways. Yes, I know we lost so many people. I think I lost
People.
maybe three or four relatives during this whole thing. And
Mm,
so, I mean, even outside of that, COVID was a huge wake up call for people to really say, okay, what are you really going to do with this
mm,
life that you have? Right?
mm,
I've seen so
mm.
many different things take place. I've seen companies say, well, we can't ever allow our employees to ever work from home, to going to 100% work from home.
Right,
Right. And it's
right.
like I've seen so many people have to change trajectory on how they approach many different things. Shoot, I know for me here in We Create Music TV, I had to change everything that I was doing because all my
Mm.
interviews used to be face to face. Right? I'm a huge face to
Yeah.
face person. Like, come
Yeah,
over to the
same here.
crib. Come over to the
Mm,
crib. Let's chop it up. Right? I have my sons as my video camera guys, operators and producers of the show and stuff. And I love that. I mean, they were right here, and we got to chop it up afterwards. And I learned so much about so many different people. Kind of what we'll do after after we done.
yes,
But
sir.
but I mean, I had to sit back and rethink: do I let We Create Music TV die because I can no longer do it face to face, or do I change how we do things? And I mean, honestly, it has allowed me to reach so many more people than what I was reaching. I mean, I've interviewed folks in
Mm,
Canada and all, all, all over the
mm.
world now. And it's like I couldn't do that just in my living room. I mean, I only got so
Right,
many artists here in Atlanta that I
right, right.
could I could reach. But now I'm talking to people all over the country, all over the world, and what they're doing as an artist. So I think that's important because for you, it helped shape who you are and your trajectory. I mean, you said yourself that you were in that discovery period for you, determining who Jermaine is and what type of music you
Mm,
want to make and what you really want to achieve. And I'm sure even out of that, probably what you talked about as far as your purpose as being a music creative probably was developed out of that whole situation. And
that's a fact.
I think that's just important for us to take that self reflection, the self awareness, to really dig down identify who we are, because it takes some time. It takes time to
Mm,
go, and sometimes you may have to step away, all right,
right.
to get
Yeah.
to get to get clear headed to say, okay, let me really go figure out what it is that I really need to do, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna figure it out. Like, uh, I saw a clip today of a guy that I know here in Atlanta named Prince Howard, and he was on a show recently. Let's talk about it for real or something like that. I think that's what he was on, and he talked about when he got into the industry, he was a financial advisor, and that's what he was
Mm,
doing, giving financial advice. And then some things happened in his life. He had to take a step away from the whole music thing, but he found himself back in music. And when he came back into music, he came back in as a music publisher,
mm.
and he said he had to learn all of the things about music publishing. He said, but he knew that music is where he needed to be, but he had to go take all of that time, that self
Take that
reflection,
time.
to figure out this is what I need to do in order to really. He said when he came in and he hit the ground running, he said it was just like everything just opened up. It was just
Hmm.
that was what he was supposed to do. And so
Yeah.
I appreciate that because that even helps me to go, yeah, okay, yeah, that self reflection, that identifying your mission, who you are,
That time to
is
sit
pretty
still,
important.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
right.
me and my aunt. We were literally talking about that yesterday. Me and my aunt, and she was just because she see how much I try to, I try to get so much done. I try to do so much, and
Hmm.
she was just like, my first name is Brandon, so she calls me by my first name, and so she's like, Brandon, you got to take the time, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whenever you can, just sit still
Mm.
and just really take in the moment and really just kind of reflect and try to do it as much as you can. Try to do it every day, like I said, for 5, 10 minutes. And then like I said, like one of the very few blessings of, the pandemic was like it made a lot of us sit down, made a lot of us
You're right
sit
about
down and
that.
sit still, and so that that might have been detrimental to a lot of people, but like I
Mm-hmm.
said, to other people, that was a blessing, time for reflection, time to kind of, get
Right.
your mind frame together and see what you really want out of life, what you want out of, your personal life or your professional life and all that type of stuff. And so I think I honestly needed that. And sitting still is something that I still kind of struggle with, today. And that's why we had that conversation yesterday. But that's something that I'm working on, and that's definitely vital to not only like your progression in whatever field you're trying to do, but just like your mental
Mm-hmm.
health and everything, man.
Oh man,
Mm,
mental health is key, man. We can get into a whole
mm,
different topic about mental health and just
talk about it.
how we need to just take care of that mental health. I think, and I've talked to many people about mental health on this show, and that's the thing. A lot of artists and creatives don't like to talk about it.
Mm-mm.
They don't like because
Which is crazy. It's weird
super
because like
super
because you
crazy.
would think so many people have gotten so open about it, but it like has a taboo space to it, which is weird to me. But I don't know. I guess it's more of like a people don't want to have people don't want to have a certain perception of them going through something,
That's right.
which you know
That's what
that'll
it
cause more
is.
damage. That'll cause more damage, in itself right there. So
You got that right, and that's what it is. Is people don't want the perception of things happening, or people to know that they're going through stuff. But we all go through stuff. We all have things that
everybody.
we're dealing with. Like nobody in the music industry is perfect. We're all going through stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's how we deal with those different things, how we handle those different things, that
Mm-hmm.
really helps us to be better at not even just at music, right? I'm talking about just in life,
Your
in
life,
general, in
everyday
general,
life.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because music is a part of your life. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
you gotta, for anybody out there, you gotta make sure you're taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental health, taking care of just yourself, whether it's spiritually, physically, social, emotionally. You gotta take care of yourself. So yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Okay, so Jermaine, man. So for you, let me ask you this, and we'll move into talking about your music. For you, what was the most important period in your life, and why?
Mm. The 4 years that I probably the 4 years I did in college, because
Mm,
up to that point I never had any real formal training in music theory or playing saxophone. Like I'm not. You say you were in choral ensembles. I'm not sure if it was the same thing, but like I remember being in band and like we would have our method books that we would like kind of like self teach ourselves. We had a piece of music. We had to be prepared to play that piece of music by this date. And that's kind of how we, progressed on our instruments, and got ready for concerts and everything. And of course, like we'll have like, clinics and stuff like that. But as
right.
far as like having lessons, I never had my first lesson until I got to college. And so
Wow.
going, from having that formal training and like that was kind of like a real shock to me, like almost like a culture shock to me, like how because I went to a music school, so like the discipline of music school
Hmm.
is just kind of different, and dealing with that discipline, it was a hard adjustment for me, because
Right.
at that up to that point, music came to me so easily, and to get there and for it to not come to me so easily, and I really have to work, and I really have to work on my skills. I really got to work
Right.
on these techniques, and then we're getting into music theory where I gotta
Mhm.
figure out chord scales, and we learn about harmony and all these type of things. And so
Right.
yeah.
So look,
And
look. So here comes another corny reference, right?
okay.
So yeah, like you had like your Nick Cannon, right? Your drumline experience.
Nah, that's a fact though. No, for real.
Right.
No.
Because that boy
And
ain't know
so
nothing when he went to school. He was like he just knew how to play the
mhm,
drums.
what
Right.
can
He was
play.
good at it. He could play,
Mhm,
but he ain't know nothing else. But y'all, now granted, I don't know how to read music. Well, let me take that back. I know musical scales and notes and right the things they teach you in school, like every good boy does fine,
right, like
right?
the very basic
Very
stuff.
basic, like face stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? I know the
Mhm.
basic stuff, but you try to get me there to talk about like some chord progressions and what's sustain note and what's I don't know none of that stuff, right?
Yeah, like
I
I had
use
like
I
going
use
to
scalar, so I'm good.
school, and like we like having the courses that like I went through 4 different, like I went through harmony 2, harmony 3, harmony 4. Then I had a tonal harmony class. Then I had a two counterpoint class. Like having like these very specific,
Mm,
you know, you know, classes where we're getting like taught these very complex ideas, and
right.
basically in the science of creating music. Like that was a lot, man, and it was a very big
Mm,
workload on top of, like, I think like I had 2 jobs, I had an internship, I had a full, class
right.
schedule, course workload and everything. And so going through that and still trying to have some type of social life, and
Mm,
it was a big learning experience for me, and it definitely helped me have more discipline and be more
mm,
intentional with my time. And so,
right.
because like, there's 168 hours in a week, and so it sounds like a lot, but like when you really get to going, it can really dwindle down. And so that's why I was like, I have to learn how to really use my time wisely and be intentional with, with the moves I make and what I'm creating. And so that 4 years that I did up there in Boston, and that's another thing. Like I'm from East Point. I'm from here. I'm from down south. And so like to spend four winters up at,
I'm
that's
sure that was a
mm-mm,
shock to be in
mm-mm, no,
Boston.
did not like it. Did not like it.
Right. That what's the what's the thing they got the big Doug or the big dig? I think it's the big dig. It's like a tunnel system they got up there, which is super crazy.
Oh no,
But
yeah,
yeah, yes.
yeah.
And then on winters, and you from
The
down here?
nor'easters,
Oh
man,
yeah, them northeast. Oh gosh,
man.
those north. Yeah.
Like the
Mm-mm.
first, I remember my freshman year seeing thunder snow, and that was like the wildest thing. I've never
People be
seen that
like,
in my
"What's that?"
life. Like, what
Right.
in the world,
It's
man?
thunder snow. You're like, yes. When it feels like it's thundering, and it typically it really is, and then there's snow, and there's a lot
Mhm.
of it,
A lot
right?
of it, and
So
it doesn't
so
stop.
right. So in one of my past jobs that I was doing as a my previous, well, I can't say previous, like it's the same life now because I'm still
Mhm.
doing the same type of job. Is I used to travel to Boston all the
Oh wow.
time, all the time, and I remember flying into Boston on one of these snowy nights and trying to drive to we're trying to think where's the location. I can't remember the location, but trying to drive, I literally could not see the car in front of me, and
Mm,
snow was everywhere, and I'm just like everybody driving like 2 miles an hour trying to get down the highway. I'm like, oh,
crazy, man.
I cannot live in this. I don't know how you Bostonians,
Bostonians, yeah.
whichever, you know
How
what I'm
y'all
saying?
deal
Like,
with this?
how y'all deal with that? Like New York, I cannot. Now, I lived in St. Louis before I moved to Atlanta in 2018. St.
Mm.
Louis has some snow,
Yeah,
but it ain't.
I remember you talking about that. Yeah, yeah. Because you're from Virginia, right?
I'm from Virginia. Well, yeah, I'm from Baltimore. Right,
Baltimore.
I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and then at the age of 5, my mom was like, "Yo, let's go to Virginia," because my grandfather was in the. I'm telling my whole like it's me now, right? And so my grandfather was in the military. He was a sergeant major at a military base in Virginia, Fort Lee, and so my mom was like, "Yo, we're gonna move down to Virginia." Cool. So we moved to Virginia. I was like, "All right." So I'm like more Virginia than I am Maryland because I only spent 5 years in Baltimore, but
Mm.
so yeah. In Virginia, Virginia really it don't really get snow. It does, but it's like a sheet. Just a little bit of
Like a little
snow.
layer, like a layer.
I think now they get a whole lot, but St. Louis, bro, woo, I can deal with that. I'm glad I moved to Atlanta because we don't really get
Yeah.
we don't really get no snow down here.
Yeah, it made when I came back home, man, that it really made me appreciate where I'm from.
That's
Because
right.
like, man,
That's right. So how do you now utilize those things that you learned in school, and how do you apply those things to what you do musically?
um, I mean, we can kind of bring it back to like the discipline and being intentional. You know, when I come down here, like I work a day job, and so a lot of my time goes towards that day job. And so I know when I come back down here, because I work out of my basement, I have my setup in my basement. I know that I don't have a lot of time, And because of that, I'm always like, yo, I need to have some type of foundation set in place so that when I get ideas flowing, that it can really be flowing in a very, constructive way. And so in learning those techniques like harmony and learning these different instruments, it makes it very easy. I can have several different options on how I can approach creating something. And me personally, I like being practical when I create my instrumentals and everything. So I like hitting on something or turning something, and I like being hands-on. And so, it might start off with me just being on the keyboard right here, or it might I have a small Alesis Nitro, electronic drum kit that I might try and play a groove on. I might start on my drum machine, just have the kick and the snare going with a pattern or something.
Right.
And so I think learning those techniques and a lot of that music theory, even though it was a lot of it crammed in a very small amount of time, it becomes like muscle memory of knowing that stuff. And so now, like, I can just come down here and immediately get started. I don't have to have like I don't have to have that weird period where you're trying to like get inspired and you're trying to like just start a vibe and everything.
Right.
I can just kind of get to going and really, be useful with my time and make something, special.
So,
So
no, go ahead. No, go ahead. You can finish.
and so yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, where like, I, trust me, I hated learning that stuff up there, but now that I'm really, getting things going and I'm really consistently creating on a regular basis, and like, sorry, I'm gonna veer left a little bit. There's a documentary that Jay-Z did about the Black Album.
Oh yeah, Fade to
and
Black.
He was, and he was talking about how he was talking about producers that like they need to be inspired, and then there's other producers that they keep themselves inspired and everything, and then that scene leads to the Timberland scene where he's playing the Dirt Off the Shoulder beat, which is iconic. And so I always keep that in my mind when I come down here. Is like, you just got to try and stay inspired, and what helps me stay inspired is like I said, having that knowledge of the musical stuff to where I can create. And then like when I ride the bus to work, and so I use that time and I'll like take notes down of concepts just for songs, because that's the time I could be using. And so like when I come down here and I have a beat that I already done made, all I need is a concept. Cool, I got a concept, I got the skeleton for the beat. Take my phone, have a voice memo, I'll record some mumbles into it for some harmonies or some melodies or some cadences, some flows or whatever. And that just kind of gets it going. I don't have to wait for something to come to me, because that can take however long, if you're trying to wait for something to come to you. And so, that's kind of like what I was able to, gain in that time that I spent in college.
Now, what I was going to say, that's perfect. Do you think it's important for producers to be able to kind of go through that type of process? I mean, and the reason. No, I'll let you answer.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, because like I'm not I produce, but I am not a trained, I guess you would say. Like, I hear what I want. I play what I want. If I can't play it, I reach out to people like yourself. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I need this. Can you play this for me? But when it comes to like learning in-depth musical theory, I don't have that. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't have that type of knowledge. But I like what I like. I can hear what I want to play. I can hear how I want to structure the actual song. So point in saying all that is that, do you think music creatives need that type of foundation to be effective as music creators?
I don't think they need it. I think it's a great tool to have in your arsenal. Because like everybody has different processes. I'm pretty sure there's people who are, miles ahead as far as like, their software, there are software technique as far as like sound designing and creating drum patterns when it just comes to like in Fruity Loops. If you're just kind of clicking and dragging, there's people that's going to be way better than me at that. And then like I don't claim to like be a very You know, I learned all that stuff, but a lot of that stuff I honestly forgot as well. You know, I don't claim to be kind of like a Robert Glasper or a Corey in that aspect. You know, I know what I know and I remember what I remember, and whatever is muscle memory, that's what helps me, you know, create the things that I want to create. And learning that stuff that I did learn, it makes it easier. You know, if I hear something
Mhm.
or I have an idea for something, I don't have to run around trying to figure it out. I don't have to, you know what I'll
I
say?
do.
You know, I'll say it like this. I think learning that it makes it where I don't have to depend on certain things, like, because I know there's people that depend on like chord packs and they depend on, you know,
Mhm.
sample packs and everything, which is
Hey,
fine because I like
don't talk
samples
bad
as
about
well.
us.
No. Because look, I love that stuff too. Trust and believe. I use that stuff, but like I said, it's just another tool in your arsenal.
Right,
And so
right.
you have just more options. And me, I'm a person, I love to have as many options as I can, because when you
Mhm.
have that, that gives you open creativity to really let your ideas just go. You
Mm.
know, because I can't imagine if I didn't go to school or if I didn't learn that stuff, how, because I even think about even before then, like my, like I think I told you already, like my stuff that I was making was very surface level, at least to me, in my opinion.
Mm.
Like they were very basic, they were very, you know, they weren't, you know, nothing you could really talk about, at least in my opinion. And,
Okay.
that could just be me being, you know,
Right.
a
All right.
self-critic or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, and learning that stuff, it gave me more options. And I, like I said, I love having as many options as I can, because you can, all you have to worry about is just the idea. You don't have to
Right.
worry.
Mhm.
And like another tool in your arsenal can be your skills in programming, you know, in the software itself. And if you're very well versed on that, and you're well versed on live instrumentation and
Oh
playing
yeah.
instruments and arrangement, and you have all that in your arsenal, come on, like the things you can make will be endless. You know,
Right.
and
Like
like I said, you'll always stay inspired.
you about to be a rants up in here. Rants 1500. You know what I mean?
Oh, that dude
Like
is dope. Yeah, that's
Rants
definitely one of,
is
he's one of those guys, man. Like he's
that's because Rants has that same foundation that you're talking about, and he has that programming knowledge. So he just, oh my gosh, y'all don't know who Rants is? Y'all go
go
look
look
up.
him up and
Oh
study
my
that dude, man.
gosh,
Mhm.
Rants is a monster. But you know, I mean, you're a monster in your own right, and because I had a chance to listen to the stuff that you produced and that you rapped on, and I'm sure that you probably engineered and mixed it and did all these things. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to talk about some of these songs, and I want to talk about the meaning behind these songs and the process of creating these songs. So I have four of them, right? Four
Okay.
songs I want to talk about. First one, Muddy Nights.
Oh man,
Muddy
man,
Nights. Yes.
man, that was a different track for me to create. So let me start off by saying, when I was making those, I always start off making beats when I'm, you know, have an idea for like a project or you know, some type of release schedule. And so with Monday Night specifically, that was part of a release schedule where I was releasing 2 singles a month. And so when I was in the process of, you know, creating those beats, I know I wanted to have like half and half of those beats be like more trap stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
half of that be like kind of boom bap or soulful kind of things, just to show my duality
Mm-hmm.
and show my versatility. And but I, being honest, I don't create those kind of, you know, that kind of sound like that. The trap melodic auto tune stuff. I don't, you know, make those things. I don't make that type of music like that. But I wanted to really, you know, stretch my abilities and just try some things, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I did with that song. And I knew that if I had, what helps me balance that, because like, if I'm being quite honest, that sound can kind of get a little bit redundant in how much we hear it nowadays, especially, you know,
Right.
being here in Atlanta. And so to help me kind of cope with that and balance it out, I was like, okay, whatever I'm talking about on this song, it has to really be, you know, real. It has to be really important.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to, and I found my pocket where I could do the auto tune singing type of thing, but still be rapping, and
Right.
still have a strong subject matter. And that's why like the first verse of that song is is so long, because
Mm-hmm.
when I got to going, like I really honestly could not stop. I had a lot that I wanted to say. And so yeah, and I think, like I mentioned before, I started off with the skeleton of that beat. And I always record my melodies and my cadences and everything into my iPhone on the voice memos. And I just came up with some melodies and came up with an arc of how I wanted the melody to kind of go up and go down and everything. And so I did that, recorded a demo to that, and I just filled in the words. And yeah, that's kind of how that song came to be.
Monday Nights is dope.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I got a lot of positive reactions to that.
So, I'm sure you did. Yeah, Monday Nights is dope. So I had a chance to listen to more than just Monday Nights though, and the ones we're going to talk about, because there was one song that you have that was kind of reminiscent to, I think it's Off the Clock.
Oh man,
it may not be off. I don't know. It was. The song was. It did not, and I know it's not Monday Nights, but there's a song you had, that you have, that has a chant that's in there. It's. Oh my gosh!
I got quite a few of those. Is it?
Yeah, but it's like it kind of reminds me of J. Cole's GOMD. That's what that's what it reminds me of. But it's I don't know if it's Off the Clock. But it's not
Off the Clock is. Off the Clock is kind of like jazz and everything, like a jazzy beat.
You might be gonna look it up. but it was like, it's not Knocking. Is it Knocking?
Yeah, because Knocking has like that chorus is that's me yelling on there. It might be that.
What? How does? Okay, I'm gonna ask you. How does it go? That way I can kind of.
Can I cuss? I can't. Can I cuss?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, who that motherfucker? Who that knocking at my door? Is that one?
That's I think so. And it's like a chant.
Yeah,
it's like a chant. It's like, who's that? Who's that knocking? It was like a. Okay, I think it was Knocking. Yeah,
shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Sound Vibes, who mixed and mastered that.
Yeah, I like the cadence of that thing. It reminded me of J. Cole's GOMD. Get off my, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite albums, man. I appreciate it. That's a big compliment, man.
Oh yeah. I liked it, that one. It's not one that's on my list, but I remember that one specifically because I was like, oh, we got this kind of chant. And then I went to something else and I was like, ooh, like Dirty Summer.
Dirty Summer, yeah, that's a favorite. That's Dirty a fan favorite right there. Yes, sir.
Yep. So talk to us about the meaning of that song. I mean I read where that song was created, but I would learn to learn more about why that song was created in that type of scenario.
Okay. Yeah, man. That was just kind of like, it's weird, man, because it's one of those songs where it's about a specific situation, a specific time in history, which would be the pandemic, right? Or at least post-pandemic time, where like people had been stuck inside for so long, and people had conversations about, when things open back up, man, it's probably gonna be pretty wild because people have been locked down for so long. People ain't gonna know how to really act when they go out. And so, and Dirty Summer just kind of sums up how like just the crime and not just the crime, but like just the energy is just different during the summer. And so it you can parallel it to like that specific situation of the pandemic, post-pandemic, the first summer after the pandemic. But then like it's summers have always been like that. Like the crime rate in the summer is just higher all the time. And so
all the time.
And so yeah.
People be wild.
So, and I'm from here, so I have specific situations that I was talking about in certain points of those verses that I could talk about. And and it was a really fun song. It was one of those what I enjoyed about that beat specifically. Like, I told you that I usually record like my flows and everything, but that was one of the ones where I just kind of went. Like I didn't record like a demo to it. I just had the skeleton of the beat, the foundation of the beat. And I'm a firm believer, like how you start a verse, that determines how the rest of the song goes, how the rest of the verse goes. And so I came up with the first line, this ain't a PSA, just another nigga from the A. And I
Yep.
was like, when I had that, I knew exactly where I was gonna go,
Mm.
and I went there. And so that was a very, very fun song for me to make. Not a lot of people from where we are right now make those things. At least not in the mainstream. Like you can find it in
Right.
the underground and everything.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I wanted something really left field, because I think when I released that song, the song before it was Big Plays, which was kind of like a chanty
Yeah,
kind of
big
track
players though.
type of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate it. And so I wanted like a really left field, you know,
Hmm.
uh, transition once you got out of Big Plays. And so that's why I even have it's like the white noise that's at the beginning of that song of
Hmm.
Dirty Summer, where it's like a quick switch, and then and immediately goes into the groove and everything. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed making that song specifically, man. And like I said, it's a fan favorite, and people love what I'm talking about on there
Right.
and how I'm saying it. So
That's right.
yeah, man.
Man, I instantly became a fan as soon as I started hearing more and more. I was like, oh yeah, like I like the
Mhm.
production. I like what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I do like the fact you got the trap, but I love the fact you got the boom bap though.
Mhm.
Like I think those types of beats, the boom bap type, the ones you can really feel, the ones that got them snares in it. That's like
Them dirty snares,
dirty
man.
snares. Oh my goodness, I was
Mhm.
like, oh, listen to this one. Now I'm trying to remember. So off the clock is the next one. I'm trying to remember off the clock. Cause I mean, I listened to every single one you had, every song
Man,
that you had out, and I'm trying to think
appreciate
if off the clock has that boom bap. Like I'm going to pull up my
Yeah, it's
YouTube.
like boom,
I
boom,
think
boom, 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 boom,
yes,
boom,
yeah,
boom. Yeah,
yes. And I was just like, I'm in my studio, like
yeah, man.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
that
oh,
that
this
that
thing
groove is
is
butter. That groove is butter, man.
that
I
group
have
is
to, if
butter.
I say so much. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I mean,
And
so talk about off the clock. What was the meaning behind off the clock?
man, so that song was initially titled as Disconnected. And I'm a person where I appreciate, my time away. I appreciate my space. And so that's kind of like the birth of the concept comes from. And so like I wanted to kind of touch on having the space, having the time away in several different perspectives. And so I know the first verse I was talking about, I think I started the verse like, tell me y'all, how we let this world become so disconnected. I'm affected. Yes, I need the space and time to disconnect it. Because there's so many things we see on the social medias, and we see, on these from the correspondence, from the news channels and everything. And a lot of it's real, a lot of it's fake, a lot of it's, very sad and is, controversial or whatever. And if you're taking in that stuff all the time and you're not even knowing like what parts of it is real, man, like, and you're just kind of always intaking it, and you're always being affected by it some way. Like I feel like me, I have to take the time away from social media, and just so I can have some type of
Shoot, me too.
sanity, you know. And so that's what I kind of talk about in the first verse. And then the second verse is about a relationship you know, that's taking its toll, as far as like, it's a long
Mm.
relationship, and it might have, it doesn't have its same, feeling that it
Hmm.
did in the beginning. And so and it's gotten to a point where like, things are being said, some of it you probably mean, some of it you really, most of it you really don't. And in order to get back to where you want to be, you need to like just take that time, step
Mm.
away, not break up, but just take the
Right, right,
time and
right.
be in your own space. And that's what I kind of touch on that. And I really love that verse because I love my rhyme scheme that I did on that in that second verse. But yeah, and then the third verse, a whole different perspective, and that talks about specifically about the career, my career in music. And like I love what I do, and I love performing. I love putting out music. I love being personal in my
Right.
music and being relatable in my music. But when I'm away and it's my time, like that's my time, when I'm
Mm.
off the clock, when I'm not, doing this, when I'm not in front of the camera or I'm not on the mic, I'm probably dealing with my family, spending time with my friends, my homies and everything. And that time is precious to me. So I keep that to me,
Hmm.
that, and so, and I feel like a lot of people don't have that kind of same mentality now, because people grow up on social media, man, and people feel like you have to, always share every single thing, which is, it has a benefit to it because people can see your
Right.
highs and lows and be able to relate to it. But, we've seen the effects of what it can do when you overshare and,
Mm-hmm.
you put too much out and you have too many people that are invested in you in your, day to day, and they have too much to say and they have so much to say about what you do every day. And so, that song, that verse specifically is about, or it specifically, it goes to like my fans who are coming now in my foundation, and I want them to understand, like, yo, I'm making this for y'all. When I'm on these beats and I'm making these songs and I'm performing, I'm yours. But understand
Mm-hmm.
that when it's my time, when I'm being private, like that is mine. Like my
Right.
like I'm not married or have kids or anything, but those are things I aspire to have. And so when I'm with my wife, when I'm with my kids, I'm with my family and everything, that's precious to me. That
It's
belongs to
precious
me,
to you. That's right.
So
Yeah, I mean, man, I think it's important, as you said, take a break from social media, those things that can probably end up being a distraction or things that can pull you away from the things that you find to be the most important. I think J. Cole said it. J. Cole's my favorite artist, just in case you need to
same here,
know.
favorite rapper, man. My
Hey,
favorite rapper.
he's my
Yes, sir.
favorite rapper. Just in case you may want to know that. But I mean, he said it. He's what is what's um okay, I think it was on January 28th. He said, um, got paid with cock and got paid to free OJ just to share my life on a stage in front of strangers who know a nigga far too well. And that's a danger. Don't be better than I know myself. I
Yep.
rip a page out my notebook in anger and let these thoughts linger. Sing.
Like
Yeah,
slang is sinking.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. But I mean, that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
point. Know me better than I know myself. Why? Because
Myself. Mm-hmm.
I'm putting everything on social media, so you know me better than I know me. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like no, but see that's why I love J. Cole because we can get the whole conversation. I can do a whole
Maybe
segment.
that's a whole nother
That's a
conversation. Yeah, that could be
whole
a whole.
segment on J.
Mhm.
Cole. Trust me, on
That boy
Jermaine
needs
Cole.
his flowers, man.
Not Jermaine Robinson. Jermaine Cole too.
Jermaine
But
Cole.
but yeah,
Jermaine is there's a lot of good Jermaines out here,
a
man.
lot of good Jermaines out there, right? Jermaine
Mm-hmm.
Cole, Jermaine Robinson. They both make
Jermaine Dupri.
amazing music. You need to check.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I'm telling y'all, and I always reiterate this at the end. Check out Jermaine Robinson, y'all. Like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, man! Like check out these songs, and I'm not even getting into half of the stuff that's out there.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
we,
I got a nice little catalog that I bought,
yeah,
man.
big plays. We talking about knocking. We talking
Mm-hmm.
about like Muddy Nights. We off the clock. We talking about oh my gosh, but there's some other stuff. I do got to ask you a thing though. I'm trying to figure out how to I'm trying to figure out how to steal this. Like, who did your visualizer though?
Oh man. I found somebody I can't tell you who it is because I honestly don't remember, but it was somebody on Fiverr that I consistently went to. And
Yeah.
yeah, he had really quick turnaround times and he was in my budget. So like I
Oh,
always
okay.
went to him.
Yeah, I was like, I like that visualizer though. The record
But
spinning. Yeah.
I will tell you,
Uh,
I have a new guy that I work with, and he recently did I have a rhyme scheme video to my new song, Look at Me. And kind
mm-hmm.
of I'm gonna try to work with him a lot more. He does the rhyme scheme videos, he does visualizers and covers. You can
Okay.
follow on Instagram at it's Spitted Education. It's SPITED and then education.
Okay.
So anybody that want to follow him and see what he got going on, man, it'd be worth your time. But
Dope.
yeah,
Is
but yeah,
is he here? Is he here in Atlanta?
no, man, he's overseas somewhere,
He's like
man.
in
Like he
Brussels somewhere. Like that's
like like he's like literally in a place that I honestly cannot pronounce.
oh
But
yeah.
yeah, but
But
he does really really good work, man.
okay.
Like really really good work.
That's what's up.
Just wanted to shout him out really quick.
Yeah. That's what's up. So you mentioned that you have a new song that's going to come out.
Yeah, I have
Yeah. So
recently
talk about
released
that.
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
so I
about
had
that.
a song Look at Me that released last Friday. It released on the 25th. And so yeah, I really enjoy that song, really excited about where that song is gonna go. So far the reception to it has been really good. I really enjoyed I'm proud of myself on how I wrote those verses, specifically the second verse. That's why I have a rhyme scheme video of the second verse, because I did my thing on that with the flow and with the rhyme scheme specifically. And that's, that song specifically is like, if people go into my catalog, I have a lot of self-reflecting records. I have a lot of records where I talk about, just kind of like trials and tribulations and everything. And I wrote so many of those songs in a very small time frame, and to where it made me feel, kind of down, made me feel a little depressed, because I'm kind of bringing back up all these different things that I've gone through. And so that's why I like having my trap stuff, where I can kind of just talk my shit, man, and but still be lyrical, and I honestly cannot make songs that don't have some type of message in it. And so like in me, talking my talk on Look at Me, like I still have those segments of like, I'm really talking about things that are really like, they really matter, they're really important.
Right.
And so and I really am proud of myself on the writing for that song. And it's upbeat, so people, you can work out to it, you can get your blood going, and really get your groove on with it and everything. So
yeah, y'all make sure y'all check it out. Check out the new single, check out the music that Jermaine has. I'm telling you, like, as soon as you listen to it, like Pharrell told Kanye, I'm a fan. Man. Like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, like, now I did hear that song, but I only heard just a snippet of it. I was like, yo, where's the rest of this song at? And I'm not a Spotify user, so when I go to Spotify, Spotify's like, hey, become a member, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Nah.
Like,
what do you use?
I use Apple Music, so I got
Same
Apple.
Here, bro.
I'm an Apple guy, right? I'm an Apple guy. I got the phone. Like, I got the phone.
Yep.
I got the watch. Computer. You know what I'm saying? I got the AirPods. I got the Mac
Apple
Mini.
Ride or Die.
I'm Apple. I'm Apple Ride or Die, right? Even though they don't give me no stuff. Even though they making me wait to receive my Mac Studio when everybody else on YouTube got theirs already. But it's all good. Tim
Come on,
Cook,
Apple. What you doing, man?
What y'all doing, bro? What y'all doing, Apple? I gotta wait. It's so bad. It's so bad. Jermaine, it is so bad. Like, I ordered
some good stuff, man. It's good stuff, though.
Let me tell you my Apple thing real quick, and then we'll move on. So I ordered that Mac Studio when it came out on the 8th, right? It wasn't available until the following week, the 18th. That's when they was going to start making them available so they could ship. Mine did not ship until the 28th, right? It didn't ship until the 28th. I got a notification the other day. It was, hey, it's going to be delivered today. No, yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It was supposed to be delivered yesterday. Then UPS sends me a thing. Oh, we got to update the new delivery date. It has not left China yet.
Oh, no.
I'm like, how you going to give me a delivery date? Get me all worked up. Playing with my emotions.
Get me all excited.
Playing with my emotions. Man. And they didn't even leave China yet. Like, what? So it's going to be here next week. I'm like, oh, man, come on now. Anyway.
That anticipation, man, when you finally open that box, man,
Man, I'm going to be like a little kid. I'm going to be like, ah! I'm going to be making videos. Watch it.
Got to make a reaction video, man.
I got to make a reaction video. But anyway, my little segue unboxing video, right? Okay, so yes, please make sure you check out Jermaine. Check out his music. Like I said, he has some amazing stuff. He has a whole catalog of just things that I'm telling you, there's not a song that you're not going to like. Every song you hear, you're going to like it. Like I don't guarantee a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna guarantee that you're gonna, as soon as you hear all them songs, you're gonna like it. You're gonna be like, yo, this is dope.
Appreciate it.
Like, For Any Given Purpose.
Oh yeah,
man, when that mug came on, that reminded me. That's a song that needed to be on 2014 Forest Hill Drive right there. That's that feel. I was like, that's that feel. I wish I could play. I think that's something I did it one time. I did it twice on my interviews. I played people's stuff on the interview, and I was like, yo, let's play your video. They were like, yo, let's do that. Yo, I'm gonna start asking, like, yo, you want to play your song? Just give a little quick snippet of it, because Any Given Purpose, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's a special one, man. That's a really special one. You know what's crazy about
Yes.
that song? You know
What's
what's
that?
crazy about it? Is that it has 2 verses, but I wrote 3 verses and I had to like cut the entire last verse. And the last verse, like it was amazing. But
Mm.
um I remember during that period, like I was mixing and mastering everything. And so it was just like I recorded in my basement and it was just a lot of like interfering stuff that was
Mm.
going on. And like the quality of that third verse just wasn't to where a point where I could like really fix it, man. And when I say
Uh,
like I hate cutting verses, man, and it's specifically that one. But I think it was beneficial because I think it probably would have made the song a little too long. And then I feel like I probably got the gist of what the concept in those 2 verses, the concept and the subject matter that I really wanted to get across and I wanted to convey. So, but now, man, I really enjoy that song. That beat, man.
that beat
I'll tell
is.
you a story about that beat. I actually I that sample, which is like it's how can I explain it? So I'm trying to figure out how I can explain it. So I had the there's a virtual instrument called Polyplex.
Mm-hmm.
If you know about it. And
Mm-hmm.
so it
Polyflex.
was one of the virtual instruments that sound library. And
Okay.
so I played that sample arrangement on the keys maybe a whole 2 years ago. And it was just another
Wow.
beat that I made. And I posted it to Instagram like 2 years ago, and probably people can still find it because I have it still on my page somewhere. But it had a completely like different groove. Like the drums were completely different.
Wow.
The groove itself was stiff and it wasn't soulful. And it was just another beat that I posted.
Mm.
And I remember when I got back into my production period of when I wanted to drop these 2 packs, and I went back to that beat, and I was just like, that sample, that sample is like nice, but I wasn't feeling the groove. And mind you, like I said, it was like a year, maybe even 2 years ago when I had initially made that beat. And in that 2 years, I learned how to, really switch. I got some new stuff, got the electronic drum set, and I was able to kind of like make it more of a
Mm-hmm.
human feel and have like a different swing with it,
Right.
And I was learning new techniques. Like I think like I spent like a good like 4 months just listening to Dilla and how he, that's the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
and how his grooves were. And I had learned so many new techniques in just that time from when I initially made the beat to when I was, trying to put
Mm-hmm.
these 2 packs together. So I took everything out. I took the original bass off. I took the original drum groove off, and I just redid it. And I think it's even at like a different tempo as well. Just it's a little faster, has a little more of a like an urgency to it. Not too fast, but it's like right in the pocket. And once I had that, I was like, okay, all right, this is it right here.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and like that was another beat. I think specifically when I make my boom bap beats or my soulful beats, I don't try to come up with cadences for that, like pre-recorded cadences on my
Mm-hmm.
vocal memos. And like I said, I started with my line. I knew I had to have a good opening line. And once I had that, that's when I was able to go and just do what I do on that. Had the
Yeah.
concept, had the beat, and I was able to just go.
Yeah. Y'all make sure you're excuse me. Y'all make sure y'all go check out, oh my gosh, for any given purpose. Like when you
Mhm.
hear it, trust me, it's gonna put you back in that. You were like, am I listening to 2014? Because that's my favorite album that J. Cole has ever made.
Man, bro.
Period.
Yeah, between that and the new joint, the off season, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
off season is dope, but
I
it
love off
ain't
season,
better
man.
than
It
2014
ain't
for a
yeah,
soldier. Oh
24.
my gosh,
That's the
it is.
standard. If you're gonna listen to J. Cole, that's like the
Yes,
standard album that you have to
because
get into.
I could listen to every song on that album from the beginning to the end.
Facts. Straight through.
I even listened to the outro when he's on there like, yeah, yeah,
Where he
yeah,
just
yeah,
shouting
yeah.
out everybody.
He was shouting out everybody. I'm like, doesn't matter. That
Jonah
beat is
Hill. I don't
dope.
even know Jonah Hill.
I don't even know Jonah Hill, but that beat is. Hey, whoever didn't clear that last sample, like y'all, come on now. He like y'all should clear that last sample. Like y'all put this music out there.
I also listened to the I
Like,
listened to the original studio album and I listened to the live album as well because you'll hear the
oh,
live one in
oh,
Fayetteville, and that
oh,
is amazing.
oh. Yeah, I got the live from Fayetteville performance, the whole
Hmm.
thing on video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I got the live. Yeah, don't get me started. But y'all know with Jermaine Cole, y'all know how it is. But anyway, man. So what's next for Jermaine Robinson? What can we expect next from you?
I have some things that I'm focusing on for the next, I want to say like 18 months, where I definitely want to get out and perform a lot more. And so with that, I'm gonna be creating a lot of like kind of virtual live performances where like kind of like the Tiny Desk stuff um and just kind of create that. And I definitely want to collab a lot more. So I recently just finished up some features and everything, and I'm really excited about it. And just kind of get the name out there a lot more and show people my versatility. And like I said, just collab a lot more, perform a lot more, and really give some life to these records.
Mm,
Because you can depend on like, playlists and, everything,
right,
but there's, different ways that you can, extend the life of these records because I feel like they deserve it. I worked hard on them and I feel like they're very purposeful in their messaging and,
right.
and how they can make people feel. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
at a, really great point in my career. I'm at the foundational level, man. So I'm at a, very, good time to do that. And like I said, like I still have some more singles that I want to release and
Mm,
where I'm, trying things and really stretch. I never want to get to a point where I'm like, I hit that peak, man, in my creative progression, man. I always
right.
want to get better. There's always room for better. There's always room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and that's what we're doing. So like, yeah, what we're focusing on is performing, collaboration, and just getting better, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. I
Always
can't
get better.
wait. I can't wait to hear what else you're gonna drop. So,
Appreciate it. Yeah.
man, Jermaine, we've been talking for an hour and 17 minutes, but I don't even feel like it. Like,
It really doesn't. I just
right.
looked at the clock. That's crazy.
So, man, so if you would hold on for just a first, I gotta ask the other question. Where can people find you, and how can they connect with you and get your music?
So you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jermaine4K. And I do have a YouTube channel. Don't have nothing on it, but my music visualizers. But we're gonna change that, and we're gonna have more behind the scenes and just kind of day to day things with me creating music and just day to day things in my life. And you can reach out to me on the DMs, man. I always answer back. I love interacting with people. I always say hey, and yeah,
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, hopefully, I get to be a part of that, y'all, so I can come and like shoot some
absolutely,
stuff with these cameras and these
absolutely,
lights and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I get. He talking about tiny
absolutely.
desk. Boom, let's set that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo,
No,
I'm sure
that
that's
no for real though. No for
yeah,
real.
like for real. Let me know. But man, so Jermaine, if you can hold on for a moment while I close this out,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen, man, Jermaine Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. Oh gosh, go check out the music. Go to his YouTube page right now. Right, Jermaine Robinson Music on YouTube. Check out the music. Start from the one that's up there now, and go listen to all of them. And you are going to become a fan instantly. I'm trying to tell you. As soon as I heard them, I was like, I'm like, this is. And then for me, check out For Any Given Purpose. That's man. But make sure you support. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you support us as well. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on the notification bell to get notified when we drop new content. As always, you can catch us every Monday and every Thursday at 7 p.m. We have our live interview segments that are here as well that you can tune in, chat, and ask questions and do all those different things. And we drop videos every week as well. Or at least, let me be really transparent. We try to drop videos every week, but we got like crazy life that goes on. So when I can drop some videos, I'll drop them on Thursday at 2 p.m. Yeah, I need to get back in the swing of things and drop more videos for y'all to be more creative. I need to work on some more new series. Maybe I'll work on a machine series, right? Y'all know I love machine. Maybe I'll do a machine series. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you support my man Jermaine Robinson. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.